Picture a kitchen table, late at night. It's littered with envelopes and bills. A laptop is open to a banking website. A young couple is staring at the screen, their faces etched with exhaustion, fear, and despair. "The interest payment alone," the wife says, her voice a whisper, "is more than our groceries for 2 weeks." Her husband sighs, a heavy, defeated sound. "I'll pick up another shift. Maybe 2. She looks at him, her eyes welling up. "You're already exhausted. There are no more shifts to pick up. I don't know how we're going to make it this month. There has to be a better way than this. A life that isn't just surviving. This feeling, this kitchen table anxiety, it's a quiet desperation shared by millions. You work hard. You try to do the right thing. But the weight of debt, the fear of not having enough, feels like a permanent chain around your ankle. God doesn't want you to live under this kind of financial stress. What if the escape route isn't a new financial product or some get-rich-quick scheme? What if the path to true financial freedom was laid out 2,000 years ago by Jesus himself? What if there are rules for banking, finance, and wealth hidden in plain sight within the Bible that we've simply forgotten? For that couple, their breaking point at the kitchen table became their turning point. They discovered 5 ancient, forgotten principles that challenged everything they thought they knew about money. This is the story of how they moved from being slaves to their finances to finding true, biblical prosperity. And it starts with a rule that changes everything. The first rule is the foundation for all the others, and it's a radical shift in perspective. The Bible is crystal clear. You don't actually own anything. Not your house, not your car, not the money in your bank account. Psalm 24:1 tells us, "The earth and everything in it, the world and its inhabitants, belong to the Lord." Everything is His. We are simply managers, or stewards, entrusted with His assets for a short time. This is why Jesus gave such a stark warning in Matthew 6:24, saying, "You cannot serve God and money. You can't have 2 masters. One will always have your ultimate loyalty." The moment you think the money is yours, money becomes your master. But when you understand it's all His, you are free to serve God as its manager. For that couple, this was a revelation. A week later, with a Bible open between them, the concept began to sink in. They realized that their paycheck wasn't really their money. They were just managing it for Him. Suddenly, every decision they made with it, how to spend it, save it, or give it, became an act of managing God's property. The budget spreadsheet on the laptop wasn't a reflection of their lack, but a tool for stewardship. The question changed from, "How much money can we make?" to a much more powerful question, "How can we wisely steward what God has entrusted to us?" This single shift was the key that unlocked the first link in their chain, but it also revealed just how tightly the next chain was bound. The next principle they uncovered was a hard truth, a direct confrontation to our modern way of life. It's found in Proverbs 22:7. "The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower becomes the lender's slave." A slave. Think about that word. It's not a suggestion. It's a statement of fact. When you are in debt, you are not truly free. Your time, your energy, your labor, they aren't fully your own. They belong to your creditor. Every decision you make is filtered through the lens of your debt. You can't take a lower-paying job that feels like a calling. You can't give generously when a need arises. You can't respond freely to God's leading because you are a servant to your balance sheet. While the Bible doesn't have an absolute prohibition on all borrowing, it consistently warns about the dangers of debt. The Apostle Paul gives us the goal in Romans 13:8, "Owe nothing to anyone except to love one another." As the couple laid out their credit card statements, the car loan, and student loan notices, the total was staggering. But now, they saw it not just as a financial problem, but a spiritual one. The word slave from Proverbs hung in the air. This, they realized, was why they felt so trapped. They weren't living. They were just serving their debt. That night, they took out a pair of scissors and cut up their credit cards. It was more than a practical step. It was a declaration of independence. They made a pact to avoid all new, unnecessary debt and to attack their existing balances with the intensity of a slave fighting for freedom. They were done serving a human master and ready to serve only a heavenly one. Does this feeling of being a slave to the lender resonate with you? Is your financial stress dictating your life's decisions? If you're ready to break free, let me know in the comments by typing, "I am ready for freedom." And if this is helping you see your finances in a new light, consider subscribing so you don't miss what's next. As the couple began to furiously pay down their debt, they eventually found themselves with a little extra money each month. The temptation, born from years of fear, was to hoard it, to bury it in a savings account where it felt safe. But the third forgotten rule directly challenges this instinct. In one of his most direct financial teachings, the parable of the talents, in Matthew 25, Jesus tells the story of a master who entrusts his wealth to 3 servants. 2 of them put the money to work and double it. The third, acting out of fear, digs a hole and buries it. When the master returns, he praises the first 2. But the one who buried the money, he calls him wicked and lazy and takes his portion away. Jesus explicitly condemned hoarding money out of fear and praised putting it to productive use to gain a return. Your money is a tool. It's meant to be productive, not hidden away. This doesn't mean reckless gambling. It means wise, productive use. The Bible even encourages diversification. Ecclesiastes 11:2 advises, "Give a portion to 7 or even to 8, for you don't know what disaster may happen on earth." Ancient wisdom for not putting all your eggs in one basket. Looking at their small but growing savings, the husband said, "I don't want to be the wicked, lazy servant. We've been given this little bit of surplus. Hiding it feels like an act of fear, not faith." With newfound courage, they took a portion of that money and found a wise way to put their talents to work. They didn't see it as a risk, but as an act of faithfulness, making God's resources productive for their family's future, and ultimately, for the kingdom. Now, the 4th rule is a crucial check of the heart. It's possible to follow all the right steps for all the wrong reasons. Jesus gave a powerful warning in Luke 12:15. "Be careful to guard yourselves from every kind of greed. Life is not about having a lot of material possessions." Notice, the Bible doesn't say money is the root of all evil. It says the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. It's a heart issue. Is your goal in getting out of debt simply to be able to afford a bigger house or a nicer car? Or is your goal freedom and peace? Scripture warns, "Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income." The real measure of wealth, according to the Bible, is contentment. Godliness actually is a means of great gain when accompanied by contentment. The husband faced this test head-on. As their finances stabilized, he saw a neighbor pull in with a brand new truck and felt that old familiar pang of envy. He wanted that. He felt he deserved it. He brought it up with his wife that evening. "Is what we're doing just so we can eventually have things like that?" he asked honestly. She replied, "Or is it so we can have peace? So we can be free to do whatever God asks of us without worrying about a car payment?" It was a pivotal moment. They had to consciously choose contentment over comparison. They had to remember they were building a life focused on eternal treasures, not temporary things that rust and decay. This heart check was crucial to keep them on the path to true prosperity, not just a prettier form of materialism. This final rule is perhaps the most radical and most forgotten. When you're struggling financially, the world tells you to hold on tighter to every penny. Jesus says to open your hand. He taught, "Give, and you will receive. Your gift will return to you in full, pressed down, shaken together to make room for more, running over, and poured into your lap." This isn't a transactional formula. It's a principle of the kingdom. Giving is an act of worship. It's the ultimate acknowledgement of Rule 1, that God owns it all. By giving from our first fruits, not our leftovers, we demonstrate our faith that He is our provider. Jesus pointed to the poor widow who gave 2 small coins, saying she had given more than all the rich because she gave everything she had to live on. The measure of giving is not the amount, but the sacrifice. It's about the heart. For the couple at the table, this was the scariest step. As they created their new stewardship plan, logic told them to pay off one more bill before they started giving. But faith compelled them to do something different. Before they allocated a single dollar to groceries, gas, or debt, they created the first line item: giving. It was a bold declaration that God came first. They made their first intentional gift, not from what was left, but from the very top. And in that moment, the final chain of fear broke. Let's go back to that kitchen table one last time, 6 months later. The scene is the same, but the atmosphere is transformed. The couple is there with their budget, but there's no tension. There's peace. They aren't completely debt-free yet, but they have a plan. They are a team. They are unified. The wife looks up from the laptop and smiles. "It's not that we're rich in the way the world thinks," she says, "but I feel wealthy. For the first time, I feel free." This is true biblical prosperity. It's not about accumulation. It's about stewardship. It's not about the size of your bank account. It's about the peace in your heart. The 5 forgotten rules they discovered are available to all of us. Acknowledge that God is the owner of everything, and you are His manager. Aggressively escape the slavery of debt. Put His resources to productive use, and don't hoard them in fear. Guard your heart against greed, and choose contentment. And finally, give first and generously, trusting God as your ultimate provider. These aren't just good financial tips. They are a blueprint for a life of freedom, peace, and purpose, directly from the words of Jesus Christ. They are the path from being a slave to money to becoming a master steward of God's resources. If you want to start your own journey from financial anxiety to biblical peace, we've created a free biblical budgeting template to help you apply these principles today. It's designed to put God first and help you create a plan for freedom. Click the link in the description to download it for free. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because in our next video, we're going to explore how to apply these 5 timeless rules specifically to planning for your retirement. Thank you for watching, and may you find peace and freedom in His provision.